We'll say good morning. Today is Saturday, October 28th, 2023. It is 7:13 a.m. as I am recording this. I want to apologize for my broadcast yesterday because I was in the way of a great deal of the map. So I'm going to move myself to a less conspicuous place so that you can see more of the map, because that's what you're interested in, is the weather. Let's start with the headline. Headline is pretty good weather from now, Saturday morning, into probably Tuesday morning. Still some scattered showers out there, but nothing major. Probably a lot of sunshine and lower rainfall totals during this time period. But as we get into Wednesday and especially Thursday into the following weekend, a norther is coming, and unfortunately some potentially very high rain totals, somewhat similar to what we saw on the 15th in that first norther. Of course, we know many people saw 20 inches of rain, and we had drainage problems, and it's very possible we'll have something very similar to that this coming late week into the weekend. So we want to be weather aware about those dangers. But let's start with our rainfall this morning between midnight and now 7 a.m. And we're looking at some rainfall totals pretty decent for the east side, over half an inch, Oak Ridge and Punta Blanca, quarter of an inch for Palatilli. And as we go across the island, especially on the west side, lower totals, just getting the ground wet and maybe a tenth of an inch. And as we drop down here to Utila, 3/100 of an inch in one location near the airport. So pretty low rain totals for this morning, except for on the east side. And let's see what we're looking at this morning as we go into the satellite view and close in on Roatan. So you can, this is the cloud that kind of brought us a little bit of rain. And as we come into where we are right now, we will stop it and turn on the blue, and we can see some of these kind of popcorn clouds. Many of them can contain rain. We see several over Omaha. If we turn on the radar, you can see, let's come to where we are right now. Yeah, a few minutes ago we saw some smudges over near Guanaja, not so much right now, but there's always a possibility of some light showers in those popcorn clouds. So just encourage you to, there may be a rain shower mid-morning this morning. Let's take a look right now at the GFS rainfall models for the near future. And basically what they're saying is a chance of a scattered shower this morning, then mostly clear this afternoon, coming back with a little bit of a chance of a shower this evening, but very small chances on Sunday, very little chance on Monday, Tuesday morning. So that's good for us. Let's talk about the storms that we have out there right now. If we look into the Atlantic, and we see this yellow X off the coast of Colombia, and we go back to the long view on the satellite, and we look down towards South America and turn on the infrared so we can see it better. Yeah, right here around Barranquilla, Colombia, we see some storms. This is generally forecast to move north, not to be something of concern to us. What we've been watching is this storm that's right now southwest of Guatemala. It's been firing up for quite a while now, and as we go into the eastern Pacific view, we see this red X, and basically you can see this large area. They don't know where it's going to go. There's lots of guesses. So let's take a look at the US GFS forecast as we go through the next couple of weeks, actually. And you can see they're spinning up this storm here off the Pacific coast, but it kind of doesn't go anywhere. And then as we get into, let's back it up and go back into today, you can see the front coming towards us. And then what you'll notice is as we get into the late week, into the weekend, these little dots of red and yellow, which is stronger, heavier rain coming overhead, and even into the early the following week, not next week, but this would be the week after that. You can see even some potential west to east spin-ups, something maybe forming here, a small tropical cyclone perhaps. So one good thing, our sea temperatures are a little cooler than they were at the peak, 31, 32 degrees at the surface. It's now a little under 30 degrees, like 29.7 degrees. So we were at record high levels of sea surface temperatures, and we're really fortunate we didn't have a tropical storm in that time period, because it really could have been bad. But we still have relatively warm surface temperatures, so that can still feed a tropical system. Let's go back to the European model. Again, it's trying to spin this up, and again we see when the front comes through, we can see as it comes down on us, we see the yellows and the reds over us, and that is heavier rain. Look at the one more model, that's the Canadian, and we put that into motion. We can see it's trying to take this storm in the Pacific and move it back over Nicaragua, which would be very unusual for something to move from west to east in our part of the world, but that is what it's predicting. And again, same thing, as we get into Thursday, Friday, you see the reds and the yellows very nearby us, and that means some very perhaps even dangerous rain. The tropical depression possibilities, we start out, we see the one in the Pacific, very high possibility of development, more high possibilities to our east. But as we get into next weekend and early the following week, we see about a 30% chance of some sort of tropical development in our part of the Caribbean, and that is in combination with this norther that's coming. Let's take a quick look at our predicted rainfall. So this is through a week from today, actually through, I guess, the day on Friday, so midnight next Saturday. And let's start with the European. Load that up, and you can see we're firmly in the purple. That's 6 to 7 inches of rain is predicting. GFS, even more, but between the purple and the white, this little bullseye here, 464 millimeters. That's in the 18, 19 inch range. Many of us remember back mid-month when we got 20 to 24 inches of rain on the west side in Utila. There were a lot of drainage problems and some landslide issues. Unfortunately, even a couple of people lost their lives, and that stands as a possibility as we go late next week into the following weekend. So we want to be weather aware and make sure that we stay away from sides of that are unsteady, landforms that are unsteady. If you can bolster or put some netting up on some of those sheer cliff sides this week, early this week would be the time to do it. Icon, similar rainfall totals in the 6-inch range, and unfortunately that's not all, because into the following weekend, into the first of the next week, there's still a lot of rain out there. So good weather through about Tuesday morning, and then watch out, we'll get some cooler temperatures. We haven't been that hot really, but we'll get back to cooler temperatures, but some very heavy rain. So we want to be very weather aware. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Patreon.com/Roatan Weather to support what we do. And you guys have a good weekend.